Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm showing you an upgraded version of my ESP32 Smart Energy Meter. In my previous video, many of you noticed that at startup, the meter used to show high garbage values, even with no load. In this version, that problem is completely fixed using a startup warm-up filter and auto-calibration. Now the readings are stable, accurate, and even with AC on and no load, the power stays near zero. I've also replaced Telegram with built-in Blynk daily energy and cost notifications. Let's start. This video is sponsored by NextPCB. If you design your own PCBs for Arduino, ESP32, or any DIY electronics projects, then you should definitely check out their official website. NextPCB offers a complete one-stop solution for PCB manufacturing and assembly. That means you can get everything done in one place, from PCB fabrication, SMT assembly, component sourcing, to full production. The ordering process is very simple. First, you go to their website and upload your Gerber files. Their system automatically analyzes your design and shows all the PCB details like layers, size, thickness, and other specifications. Next, you choose your quantity, board color, finish type, and production speed. You'll instantly get a quotation, so you know the cost before placing the order. After that, just enter your shipping details, complete the payment, and your order moves into production. They also offer PCB assembly services, where you can upload your BOM file and pick and place file, and they handle the complete assembly process for you. So instead of managing multiple suppliers, you get everything done in one smooth workflow. If you're serious about making professional quality PCBs for your projects, I highly recommend checking out NextPCB. The link is in the description below. Now let's continue with the project. First, we have the ESP32, the brain of our entire system. It handles all the sensor readings, calculations, cloud updates, and even sends monthly reports to Telegram. Next is the ZMPT101B voltage sensor. This tiny module is responsible for accurately measuring the AC mains voltage. It's highly sensitive, compact, and perfect for safe voltage sensing. Along with that, we're using the ACS712 current sensor to measure the load current. It gives us precise current readings, which we will use to calculate power and total energy consumption. To display all the values in real time, we're using a 16:2 LCD display. And to make the wiring simple, the display is paired with an I2C module, so it only needs two wires to communicate with the ESP32. All the components are mounted neatly on a Vera board, making the project strong, compact, and easy to handle. We're also using some header pins for clean connections and easy removal of modules, super helpful for DIY builds. A simple push button is added as well, which we'll use for resetting stored energy and cost data whenever needed. For connections, we're using male to female jumper wires, which make the wiring flexible and beginner-friendly. And finally, the AC load socket, where we will connect our appliances to measure their real-time power consumption. Each of these components plays an important role in creating a fully functional, smart, and IoT-enabled energy meter. Now let me show you the hardware setup. Here you can see all the components neatly mounted on a Vero board. The ESP32 is placed at the left. Voltage and current sensor connections are routed cleanly, and the LCD is connected using I2C to reduce wiring. The push button is connected using the ESP32's internal pull-up resistor. This kind of layout is perfect for long-term energy monitoring and real-world installation. Now let's move to the Blynk setup. First, I create a new template and name it Smart Energy Meter. I select ESP32 as the hardware and Wi-Fi as the connection type. Then I create data streams for voltage, current, power, total energy in kilowatt hours, and cost. After that, I create an event called Daily Tracker. This event is used to send daily energy usage and cost notifications automatically at midnight. Finally, I design the dashboard using gauges and labels for voltage, current, power, energy, and cost. Now this part is extremely important, so please don't skip this section. For any energy meter, calibration decides how accurate your readings will be. Even if your hardware and code are perfect, wrong calibration values will give you wrong voltage, current, and power. Inside the code, you will see two parameters called actual voltage and actual current. First, take a good quality multimeter, or clamp meter. Now measure the actual AC voltage directly from the mains, or from the same point where your voltage sensor is connected. Whatever exact value you see, that is the number you must enter in the code as the actual voltage. Next, connect a known load, like a bulb or any appliance. Now measure the actual current using a clamp meter or a multimeter connected in series. For example, if your meter shows 0.09 amps, then you must enter 0.09 as the actual current value in the code. These two values are used by the system during auto-calibration. What the code does is very simple. It compares what the sensor is reading versus what the real measured value is, and then automatically adjusts the voltage and current calibration factors. This correction is then saved into EEPROM, so the calibration stays even after power is turned off. This is also the reason why the startup garbage values are now fixed. In the earlier version, calibration was not stable at startup. But in this version, the system first goes through a warm-up phase, ignores unstable readings, and only then applies calibration. After calibration, even if AC voltage is on and no load is connected, the system correctly shows near zero current and power, instead of random high values. So please remember, whenever you build this project for the first time, or if you change sensors, wiring, or load type, always update the actual voltage and current values and run auto-calibration once. This one step alone is what makes this energy meter accurate, stable, and reliable for real-world use. Now let's talk about the Wi-Fi and Blynk authentication setup, because without this part, your ESP32 will not connect to the Blynk cloud. Inside the code, at the top section, you will see the Blynk template details. Here you need to paste three things exactly as provided by Blynk. First is the Blynk template ID. This ID links your code to the template you created in the Blynk dashboard. Second is the Blynk template name. This must be written exactly the same as your template name in Blynk, including capital letters. After that, you will see the authentication token. This token is unique for every device. It allows your ESP32 to securely communicate with the Blynk server. Make sure there are no extra spaces and the token is copied correctly. Even a single missing character will stop the device from connecting. Now just below that, you will see the Wi-Fi credentials section. Here you need to enter your Wi-Fi network name, which is your SSID, and your Wi-Fi password. Once these details are added, the ESP32 knows which Wi-Fi network to connect to, which Blynk template to use, and which Blynk device it should communicate with. Please note that Wi-Fi name and password are case sensitive, so type them carefully. Also, make sure you're using a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network, because ESP32 does not support 5 GHz Wi-Fi. When you upload the code and power on the ESP32, it first connects to your Wi-Fi. Once the Wi-Fi connection is successful, it automatically connects to the Blynk cloud using the authentication token. If the connection is successful, your Blynk dashboard will start showing live voltage, current, power, energy, and cost values. Now connect the ESP32 to your computer using a USB cable. Open the Arduino IDE, select the correct ESP32 board from the Tools menu, choose the correct COM port. Now click the Upload button. If required, press and hold the boot button. Wait until the upload is completed. After upload, the ESP32 restarts automatically. The LCD will show stabilizing. This startup phase removes garbage readings. No wrong data is sent to Blynk. Energy calculation starts only after stabilization. After a few seconds, the system becomes ready. Now let's talk about the AC connection, because this is the most critical and sensitive part of this project. First of all, a quick safety note. This project works with AC mains voltage, which is dangerous if handled incorrectly. If you're not confident working with AC wiring, please take help from a qualified electrician. Always keep the power off while making connections. Now coming to the actual wiring. The live wire from the AC mains goes through the current sensor first. This is very important. Only the live wire should pass through the current sensor. The neutral wire should never pass through it, otherwise current measurement will be wrong. For voltage measurement, the AC voltage sensing circuit is connected in parallel with the main supply. One terminal goes to live and the other goes to neutral. This allows the ESP32 to measure the AC voltage safely through the voltage divider and isolation circuit. Make sure the voltage sensing module you are using is properly rated for mains voltage and provides electrical isolation. Never connect AC mains directly to the ESP32. After completing all AC connections, double-check live and neutral wiring. Ensure there are no loose connections. Keep sufficient distance between AC and low-voltage DC tracks on the variaboard. Once everything is checked, you can power on the system. Now that everything is connected and configured, let's do a full system test to verify accuracy, stability, and real-world performance. First, I power on the system with AC mains connected, but no load attached. At startup, the LCD shows stabilizing, which means the warm-up filter is active. During this time, the system ignores sensor noise and does not calculate energy. This is exactly what prevents the garbage values that were present in the previous version. After a few seconds, the stabilization phase ends automatically. Now observe the readings carefully. Even though AC voltage is on, the current is almost zero, power is nearly zero, and energy does not increase. This confirms that the no-load behavior is correct and the startup issue is fully fixed. Next, I verify the voltage reading using a multimeter. The voltage shown on the LCD and Blynk dashboard closely matches the real voltage measured externally. This confirms that the voltage sensing and calibration are working properly. Now I connect a small load, like a bulb. As soon as the load is connected, you can see current increases smoothly, power updates instantly, no sudden spikes or random jumps. This shows that the smoothing filter and real-time calculation are working correctly. I keep the load connected for some time and observe the energy value. You can see that energy increases gradually and realistically, not suddenly. The cost is also calculated correctly based on the tariff value defined in the code. Next, I test with different loads. When I change the load, voltage, current, and power update smoothly without instability. This confirms that the system responds correctly to real-world load changes. Now let's test the button functions. A short press changes the LCD display page. A medium press resets the energy and cost values. A long press starts the auto calibration process. All button functions work exactly as designed. After calibration, I reboot the system to test EEPROM storage. Even after restart, the calibration values, total energy, and cost remain saved. This confirms that data persistence is working correctly. Now let's check the Blynk integration. All live values, voltage, current, power, energy, and cost are updating in real time on the Blynk dashboard. Finally, I test the daily notification system. For example, I set the timer for every 1 minute, but the main code will have one-time notification at midnight. The system automatically sends a Blynk notification showing the total energy consumption and cost for the day. No manual trigger is required. After completing all these tests, we can clearly say that the system is stable at startup accurate, under no load conditions, smooth and responsive under load, reliable for long-term energy monitoring. This full system testing confirms that this upgraded version is ready for real-world use. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. And for more ESP32 and IoT projects like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.